rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the village board meeting of July 10th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Beecher.
Here.
Kraus.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Stacy.
Here.
Terry.
Here.
Giannetti.
In your packet, you have the minutes for the last meeting. Does anyone have any changes or additions? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Beecher.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Does anyone from the audience wish to address the board? Okay. Village clerk's report.
The total tax revenue received in the month of June is $787,890.89. And that's it.
Okay. Reports of village commissions. 4th of July Commission, Trustee Kraus.
I don't have anything specific, just obviously it's over, and everyone who helped out was up there, did something to make it happen. And obviously everyone here knows it's all volunteers that get this started, going, finished, so thanks to everybody who was up there. And I know, I think in August is our next meeting, they'll have the numbers by then, we'll get it to the board, so, but that's all I have.
Okay. Youth Commission, Trustee Session.
Thank you very much. Kid and Pet Parade went off without any issues at the fest. BYC is putting together plans for a fundraiser, partnering with the local restaurant to host a dinner and drinks event with raffles. More details will come on in the future. And then finally, the July meeting for BYC has been canceled, and the next meeting will be August 15th at 7:30 p.m. here at the Village Hall.
And Jeremy Hammond's looking for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know who that is. He has a youth group that wants to do beautification work.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty. Historic Preservation Commission, Trustee Gardner.
Nothing new to report. Our next meeting will be on July 19th.
Okay. Under my report, we met with our new fire inspector, and actually it was a great meeting. We have a female inspector that's going to start with us. She has 35, 40 years. 42 years of experience. She inspects for other towns, and they know exactly what we're looking for. They sent us some paperwork, some ideas of things we could send out to people ahead of time, which we have emailed all the businesses in town with a checklist of things you should be responsible for in order to be compliant and safe all year long. However, these are a list of some of the things that the inspector will be looking for. She's going to be coming out on Fridays between 9:30 and 2:30. Or it's 9:30 and 2. So actually it works pretty well because we don't have to worry about making appointments for windows. It's pretty much let them know approximately what week she'll be out, and then sometime between 9 and 2:30, we're going to give her a list of in different areas, try to clump it together, and have her do a whole series of businesses at a time. She said the first year, maybe we give her closer to a half hour for each until she gets her feet wet and sees how big the buildings are and how much time it's going to take, and she's sure she can streamline that down as time goes. Do you have anything else you'd like to
A
add?
building like Dutch American might be all day, because it's like 130,000 square feet, maybe she gets two done that day.
Yeah,
But strip malls-
it wasn't taking the whole day before, but, but it might take an hour.
Yeah, and then the strip mall, she can do bing bang boom, right down the road. First Friday in August is when she's gonna start.
So how does that work with the schedule? You said every Friday, or I'm sorry, every other Friday?
Every Friday.
Every
It was every
Friday?
Friday, yeah. So we will make the appointments.
Okay.
We're gonna, and they were
But
willing
we're
to
gonna give
do
them a window, we're not gonna say she will be there at 9:30 exactly, we're gonna say,
sometime between
9:30
9:30 and 2.
yeah.
I just wanna make sure all the businesses are captured and no one, like, gets left behind, because, but if you guys are making appointments, that can't.
Yeah, we're gonna do it, and we actually have a spreadsheet of all the businesses. Patty has them divided up by zones, by, different areas of town, so that you've got businesses in one area kind of clumped together. She's got all the contact information, and she just emailed everybody to let them know it's gonna be happening. So a few people have responded already saying, well, we'll be on vacation for this time, and thanks for letting us know. So, you know, everyone has been apprised, and then she can tell if any of the emails bounce back, then she can make some phone calls to make sure she has their information.
And when we email these businesses, was any of it, or is there a way, like, we can let them know that this is now run by the village, not fire department?
It was in the email, yeah, we informed them, and actually it came from, it was addressed from me, that,
Okay.
you know, this is our program, we've hired a fire inspector who, is now gonna be taking care of the businesses, and, you know, basically, new inspector, new program.
BNF code, and it's in real uniform.
And they asked, you know, which fire code we use, we told them 2015, they were very, I mean, they're very professional, they do this, and they actually were really, it was really easy to talk to them, there was, you know, they asked a lot of really great questions, when we weren't as specific as they wanted us to. What do you want us to do in this circumstance, and suppose this happens, and maybe you think this is a good idea, but we think it needs to be a little stricter here, and, I mean, they were very, very forthcoming with, if you want it this way, we're willing to do that, but here are some of the drawbacks, we think it might be a better idea to do this. I mean, they were very good with partnering about information, and, you know, I was really happy with the meeting.
And one last thing, I gotta be honest, I have no clue what we budget for this, but it's one Friday, a week. Do we budget enough for that, or?
Oh, yeah, 10,000, oh, yeah, $90 an hour.
Okay,
Yeah,
We're not even starting until August, and the way we're going, she'll probably be done in November.
okay.
yeah, we're thinking it should, you know, even if it goes slowly the first year, Patty was estimating maybe 14 weeks. By next year, maybe 10 or 12, you know. So it's definitely not gonna be an all-year thing.
The inspection reports, is that going to be something that's kept here, or is the trustees going to have that information, and are you sharing it with the
I
fire
suppose we
district?
could, it's gonna
We
be in
have it, if
paper
you want it,
forms.
we can show it to you, but for
I just didn't
proprietary
know.
reasons, I don't know if I would be giving out publicly in your board packets inspection reports, no. I
Could we
wouldn't.
just do, I mean, I know before at the fire department, I think it was, did you, or maybe it was trustee Forrest asked for, like, just a spreadsheet, like.
Correct, yeah,
Like
where she
something-
went, how many
something generic,
businesses she
no.
did.
Oh,
Is that
How
gonna
many
go-
yeah,
is
that-
that-
invitations,
I
what's-
guess my question is that gonna fall underneath public safety? Would I get a
Probably.
recap as to what, you know, she did
Yeah,
this
I
many
would think so.
businesses, this many businesses passed, or so forth?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a spreadsheet built already for it.
yeah,
Just-
yeah, that should be easily done. And the forms themselves, we can probably forward to the fire department too, if they, or the
That I have to
businesses,
do.
that we're gonna do
The
too.
inspection, the actual
Yeah,
inspection.
the actual inspection, and actually the form they're using is pretty much the form that Eric used to use when he was doing it on paper. It looks like just about the same form.
I will probably take them all, give it to them all at once, instead of
Yeah, giving it to
feeding
them
them a
every
little
2 or 3
bit.
days. You know, but she said that she was accustomed to working with businesses. If you walk in the door and you see something that's somewhat minor that can be fixed at the time. They says, years ago, back in the day, when the exit signs all had light bulbs in them, he says, the man says they used to just carry things of light bulbs with them when they did inspections, so that they could just change it out at the time. But he says, otherwise, if there's something easy, a chair to be moved, a plant, you know, little things, they says, we do that. And she says, I like to be teaching, so she says, I am happy to explain to people why it's important that they do this, so that there's some kind of sense involved. It's not just, you know, you have to do it because I said so. So, it was a good meeting. Hopefully it works out well. So, next topic is the continued discussion on the availability of liquor licenses. Right now, there is a full liquor license available, and there is a beer license. There's actually a beer and wine, but we have someone who has spoken for that. He contacted us today and said he doesn't quite have his lease finalized yet, so he was unable to come in and bring it in filled out today, but he's hoping within the next 2 weeks he should have that done. Outside of that one, there's one beer-only license and one full liquor. And I know we had some conversation about this, about potentially changing the population requirements that create how many licenses we have. So I'm gonna leave that open to you guys, what you feel you'd like to do.
Someone else wanna start?
I think it might be all you, Todd.
Yeah, I can say something. I mean, I think it's not unreasonable, just because it seems like right now, where there's this knowledge of here's how many we have, you know, you're having to field a lot of requests, with people just, coming like, trying to, I want it. And if we had it set by ordinance where it's just kind of the expectation, which I think I understand a lot of municipalities do, where it's gonna go through the village board and, we'll amend it on the fly as we need to, it seems like it would maybe just make things easier across the board.
Since I've been elected, I've had 6 requests from current businesses that don't serve liquor, that want liquor licenses just to be able to put in gaming. And I didn't even bring them back here, I just told them no, because I did not feel that it was a good fit for their particular business. But we get requests all the time, and as anybody, you know, from the public who's listening to this, you see things on Facebook where people complain about too much gaming in town. Just so you know, according to the state of Illinois, if you serve liquor, you are entitled to apply for gaming, and that's between you and the state of Illinois. So the village can't control whether there's gaming or not. Any current restaurants or bars that have liquor can have gaming. The only thing we can control is the liquor licenses themselves. That's our responsibility, and that is controlled by population. We can say one of this type liquor license for every X amount of thousand people. The only thing we have actually approved as far as specifically gaming was 2 gaming cafes, and actually we have 1 at the moment. And there is another one who's interested in coming in. Bars, restaurants, we have no control over that. So that's kind of where this conversation came up, because pretty much everyone who comes in now that asks for a liquor license pretty much has gaming in mind, not just liquor. We don't really get any requests for people who want to open a bar. It's all just about gaming. So
When was the last time, Mayor, that it was set for how many licenses per population? I mean, was
I
it
think
10
it
years
was-
ago, 15?
no, I think it was 2018,
We have to change it
It was a
every
year after
time
I
there's
got
a
on.
census.
which
because
actually our
population
census has gone up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the year after I first got on.
Okay.
Because I remember discussing, there was a lot of discussion with that.
Yeah, because I was on the board at the time when we talked about that. And somehow or another, we got, as we approved the licenses, in some cases, the business never opened. Somebody was gonna open up a restaurant and bar in town, they never did, so that's why we had the A license. Chubby's. At some point, we got off track where there are so many beer licenses per 1,000 and so many wine licenses per 1,000. So we have an extra beer license hanging out there that I'm not sure who would need that. Outside of gaming, you know, if somebody's gonna open a brewery or something, they might want beer, but otherwise we're kinda off track with that. We have this weird beer license hanging around. And then the full A license for, you know, the restaurant that never opened. And, you know, if something closes, somebody goes elsewhere, then we end up with an extra license.
Can we adjust the ordinance then?
Right, and this can be adjusted anytime, so if you wind up, you know, somebody moves or something and you end up with an extra one, you can always just, all you have to do is change the numbers on the
And
ordinance.
that way the full board can decide whether or not that license should be.
Well, I mean, no one's gonna come in, I mean, this one that is not for sure, but fairly confident they're gonna get it. How long, you've been talking to them, 3-4 months already, if not longer?
Yeah, and theirs, actually, they were looking for a space, so they were trying to get one space, that didn't work out, and now they're actually right in the final negotiations with another landlord.
So I mean, there's, I mean, I would like to see this change where what do we have now is what we have. And then if something else comes in, the board can look at it. It's, change the ordinances, we have to post it and then at one meeting and wait 2 weeks and vote on it. So max 30 days, we could change it. No one's gonna come in and say, well, we gotta wait 30 days, we're gonna leave. If they really wanna be in here, 30 days is nothing. It takes them longer than that to get a lease, to get construction, and all that stuff. So we have time to change it as much as we want, as little as we want. So that's why I think we should, whatever's out there, however the numbers have to fall, get rid of everything that's out there.
Drop it in.
Whoever's
drop it in.
there, there.
Yeah.
If one drops off, then the board wants to change the numbers to get rid of that one, and then, like I said, we can add it the way we want. If a brewery comes in, I mean, again, I'm speaking for myself, not the board, I mean, I definitely would approve something like that, a nice big business comes in.
Well, like I've always said too, the A license, you know, that's a full liquor license. If some restaurant came in or some sports venue or something that wanted it, I don't think anybody's gonna vote against that.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I'd like to see it rewritten, whatever's there is there. We can save the one for, include the one that's most likely gonna get it.
Yep.
And if they don't, something happens, then we'll just change the
just
ordinance to
revise it
reflect the
and
numbers.
revise it.
I mean, it's literally all we're doing is we change the ordinance to reflect the numbers, either up or down, to either add or subtract licenses. It's fairly simple.
What's the advantage or disadvantage of just leaving it the way it is?
None, it just becomes, you could leave it the way it is. It's just every person that comes in, you wanna treat everybody fairly. Some of the ideas that come in aren't as good as some of the others, and you have to kind of reinvent the wheel every time somebody picks up the phone and calls, and especially with gaming in the picture, if it was one thing where people were coming up with saying, hey, I wanna open, the one guy that was gonna open a wine bar that time, that was just a very different idea of something he wanted to open as a business. Right now, everything has to do with, I just wanna do this so I can get gaming. You know, when you have, there's businesses that have asked me for liquor licenses that have nothing to do with liquor. But they basically want that liquor license just to put gaming machines in, and that's kinda what this has turned into. Outside of the one that's kinda hanging out there, that's trying to get that, lease done, pretty much everyone else who came to me is just basically, we don't care what we have to do, we just want gaming. And that's, you know, so that's the thought, and I'm sure, and I shouldn't answer, I know you're the main one that had started talking about that, so I shouldn't answer for you.
I'll answer your question, Joe. Right now, the mayor can issue a license without input from the board, because there's available licenses. This mayor chooses not to do that, but a mayor of the future could. So, if you want board oversight on how those licenses are issued, bring that number down to the population. This mayor's not gonna do that, but you never know down the road what could happen.
Yeah, I believe in keeping things open and transparent, letting you guys know what's coming and bringing it up in board meetings. But I don't have to, as liquor commissioner, if the licenses are available, I can just go grant them.
And on the flip side too, if the board approves it, the mayor doesn't have to.
That's
So, I mean,
correct.
it's a
Exactly.
check and balance. I mean,
She's a liquor
right
commissioner.
now, everything's sort of on her for, or
Right.
her or whoever the next one is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we can get rid of all of them, and the board can say, yes, we want next license A. The mayor said, mayor can still go, yeah, well, I don't like that.
I'm not
So I
doing
mean, it's a check and balance too.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll have the ordinance drafted for next meeting. And if
Do we have to vote on that, or?
Here, we make a motion.
I just call the attorney, if you want to, you can authorize the attorney to draft. To make
Let's
it-
do it a legit way, do the vote, and
Sure.
so that the minutes
You
show
can.
it. Mhm.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the, is it the liquor license ordinance?
Liquor ordinance, yeah.
The liquor ordinance, to reflect, the current amount of licenses we have in use. Per
You're recommending,
population.
your motion is to authorize the attorney to draft.
Yes, the attorney to draft that, the current license we have, to reflect the population we have.
And we're leaving the one extra one.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second, discussion?
So we're leaving
The
that
one for
A,
the
the
other-
class A? or
No,
we're
not the
leaving
A,
just
there's a beer and wine one where they're in the
So
process
the
of
beer and wine one's
negotiating.
going to that one,
We're
and
gonna
then
leave
that
that one.
restaurant one is gone.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of the A license, the full one, and the beer-only license. And anyone who wishes to apply for them can come on in and see the board. All right.
So in the event
Mhm.
a restaurant wants to open up on Bull Street and they want a class A, they won't be able to get it because it's not available? Or will
They can come
here
before
first?
the board. No, then they come before the board and say, here's what I wanna do, will you grant me a license?
But if it's based on the population that we have right now,
Well, no, so here's how it works. We say one A license, well, let me give you an example. So, bowling alleys, we have one bowling alley liquor license per every 4,000 of population. So we only have one. If we wanted to if somebody wanted to open a second bowling alley, we would change the ordinance to say we get 2 bowling alley liquor licenses for every 4,000. So we're just, it doesn't have to do with, you know what I mean, we adjust those numbers. So if we need an extra A license, and right now we have 4 of them for every 4,000, we would say, we want 5 of them for every 4,000 people. So we can determine those numbers, the population doesn't, we do.
Nothing's final with this, it just gives the board the option to create, I mean, we can create just 7 more.
We're actually
If we want.
taking the mayor off the hook and making the decision about a business establishment. Now it becomes the board's responsibility to review the application before you widen your licenses. So it's not strictly up to her.
but it's also taking away the liquor commissioner, whatever.
No, because the mayor still, like I said, we can create it, a restaurant can come in and we can create another A license, the mayor says no, correct?
Yes, the only thing it does take away is if someone's bringing something in that I think is a good idea and you know it doesn't come, I can't overrule you that way. I can't say, yes, we do wanna give you a liquor license if the board doesn't. I don't know know if there would be a situation where I would take on all 6 of you and say, I think it's a good idea, and you guys are all morons, I don't think I would go there, but
I give you odds.
it could happen, but,
It has happened in other towns, I've seen it.
yep.
Not here.
We might get more than 28 people then watching,
Watching
videos on
them,
YouTube.
yep, watching
We
them.
might get up to like 35, I don't know, it's like that.
All right, any more discussion? Roll call.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
All right. Committee reports, Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Various reports are enclosed. Consider a motion approving the bills and payroll since the last meeting. I will make a motion approving the bills and payroll since last meeting.
There is a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Possession.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
And then we will be having a joint meeting with Public Works to discuss the Dixie Highway water main financing. Did we pick after the meeting?
Yeah, I decided after the agenda went out, we'll just do it after this board meeting.
Okay, that's been posted though.
So yeah, everybody's here tonight, so we can do it.
And then consider a grant agreement with Will County for the use of $500,000 ARPA funds for the Dixie Highway Water Main Crossover Project. Encloses a copy of the agreement and a list of village attorney concerns. This is the same language that was used for the HVAC grant last year. Main concern is the county's ability to terminate the agreement without any reimbursement. This would be political suicide for them, and I do not see this happening. We are on the hook for $1,139,000 in upfront costs and $639,000 in total costs.
And that's what our committee meeting is about to discuss.
Did the dates, because the attorney made some comments and they were all about the dates. One of them is in the past and one of them might
Yeah,
be
the
done by
dates,
this year.
the dates reflect the US Treasury's policy, rules, and guidelines. The county was given this money a year ago, and they finally decided how they're gonna disperse it, because if they didn't, Biden was gonna take it away from them, or there was gonna be a clawback. So they need to get this money appropriated, basically, and once we sign this grant agreement, it's appropriated. Then we have until, I think, December 30th of '24 to commit the funds, and December 30th of '26 to actually spend the money. I don't think our intention is to wait that long. We're probably doing the Dixie Highway crossovers in '24.
Hold on, let me find it here. It says submission for reimbursement has to be submitted by January 1st, '24. That's what the attorney's concern
Yeah, and
is.
this grant agreement basically is this.
That satisfies that date?
Yes.
Okay.
You have until December 30th, I think, of '26 to spend the money.
Yeah, to spend it.
Yeah, so they won't give it to you until you spend it locally. So, it's the same as our HVAC grant, I mean, same language, same boilerplate contract. And yet I have not seen
Have
my
we
money
been paid for
for
that
that
yet?
yet. I mean, I'm being told checks in the mail, you know, but we have not received that grant yet. And that concerns me to some extent with their ability to perform under this grant, you know? But if we wanna get $500,000, we're just gonna have to play this game.
That's all I have.
All right, Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Is there a motion required?
Oh, yes.
Yep, sorry,
Authorizing me to sign it.
yep.
Okay, make a motion for the grant agreement with Will County for the use of $500,000 ARPA funds. Do I need to list the project? Is that part of it or no?
For the Dixie Highway Water Main Crossover
Okay,
Project.
Dixie
Yeah.
Highway Water Main Crossover.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call.
Possession.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Now, Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Thank you. Matt, Project Pickle in Walton Step Park?
I don't have anything on Welton-Stedt. I did notify American Seal Coating on Project Pickle this past Friday that the Carnival Campground had moved out of place and they're waiting.
Except for one squatter.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
that's not, that,
The police department's
Trail's
handling
on the
that
way, is it?
situation.
okay.
Please start
So I'm
handling that.
I'm just waiting to hear back from American Seal Coating on when they're getting that lined up.
Okay.
And then, public safety facility, Bob?
We are still working on getting all the bid specifications ready. They should be ready to bid by the 1st of August, and this board would then decide with the architect's recommendations to when to go to bid on the project. There's still some consternation as to the high cost of work right now, and the cost is going down as we speak. So we have to pick the right time to bid that project out, so we come in within our project budget.
Be a lot of guesswork.
Yeah, well, the good news is, we have to spend that GO bond money in 3 years. You don't have a choice. So 3 years to the date of the issuance of the bonds, those bond funds have to be committed. So you've got some time. We are earning decent interest on those bonds. It's not like it's sitting there and not making you any money. So the value of the project, the value of the money you have that can go toward the project's going up every month as we earn interest, and the cost of construction is going down. The architect believes that the best time to go to bid will be maybe this fall, but that doesn't mean we break ground till spring because we can't pour concrete in the winter. So all those things will have to be decided in August, and that's when the chair of the committee is gonna have to make his recommendation. Who's in the building trade, so he'll have his 2 cents worth on that.
That concludes my report.
Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, trustee Gardner.
Nothing new to report. Our meeting is still on for the 20th as of right now.
As of now, I don't have a valid petition, so I might be canceling that meeting for July. But since all of us are in the room, we could pick a steering committee meeting date. All 4 of us are here. Bob, some Wednesday afternoon after August 19th? I know George got a thing too. Put George on the spot too.
Yeah, Wednesday, it's gotta be in the evening though.
Not in the afternoons?
I go to my sister every trip to Bloomington every Wednesday.
Then we can change the date.
She has a mini
Actually-
stroke, so I gotta go down.
That would actually work out for me as well, because I believe that week I'll be getting out of work a little bit later, so I wouldn't be in town till at least 5 o'clock-ish. So,
Anything after the 19th.
Okay, what I wanna do is schedule it, so I keep that consultant moving. When I tell him, we got a steering committee, meeting, you better present material, then I can get him moving.
When did you wanna do it on?
Uh,
Thursdays, Wednesdays?
It doesn't matter to me.
So I come back the 19th from the bike
I'd
trip, so
rather,
anything after
yeah,
that.
I'd rather not do it Wednesday, cause if we can do whenever you want then. Wednesdays, I pretty much gotta go down there for a while, yeah.
Well, the 24th would be our next regular meeting, would it not? August 24th? For plan commission?
Yeah,
So that wouldn't be a good time to do a steering committee, we got full commission.
but we could do it afterwards. You might not even have anything for the committee.
On August 24th, I may not. If the steering committee doesn't meet and make any recommendations, I won't have anything.
So you wanna do it on the 24th?
I say we schedule it for the 24th at 7 o'clock, and if we have PCC, we'll do that first, and we'll stick around for,
That's fine.
does that work?
good.
That works.
All right, I gotta get this project moving.
Are there no other days in July or August until the 24th?
Now with Bob's
Oh,
vacation
Bob's
schedule,
gone.
sorry.
Gotcha.
we have to wait for him to get back.
Who put him on the steering committee?
Really?
Well, we need material from the consultant before we can even
Right.
meet.
Right.
That's what we're waiting on.
Is that all?
That concludes my report.
All right, Public Safety Committee, trustee Terry.
The results for the 4th of July public safety incidents that occurred, we had several medical emergencies throughout the event. We had one arrest that was domestic related, where an individual was arrested, and they weren't from town. Other than that, everything else went pretty smooth. With the reference to the bike rodeo, we canceled that due to the weather conditions. There was some lightning, and obviously with the heavy rain, we were not able to utilize the parking lot. So what we're looking to do is to move some some of the different things that we had arranged for the bike rodeo. We're gonna go ahead and, like our giveaways, we had the bike raffle and stuff like that. We're going to allocate all that stuff to National Night Out, which is going to be August 1st from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And I'm looking to see what trustees would be able to be available to come out and help out for National Night Out. That'll also be at Fireman's Park. Probably send an email out to everybody, just giving dates and times and trying to schedule everything.
August 1st?
August 1st, yeah, it's a Tuesday, first Tuesday of August.
Are you gonna shorten that bike rodeo route?
So we're not gonna do the actual bike rodeo. What we'll do is we're talking with the chief. I think we're gonna do like a tent and do a bicycle
Safety
check.
check?
Yeah, safety check, where we'll have one of the officers there checking the bike and doing it. If they wanna register the bike, they can register the bike. And everybody that comes in to National Night Out, we'll give them a ticket. That ticket will be for the raffles.
Yeah, I assume you want Public Works to have some of their toys out there for
Yep.
the kids to climb on in the fire
Yep,
department.
yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna check with, I'll send that out with the email.
Okay.
Chief, anything else you'd like to add?
We have a boys and girls bike to raffle off, that's what we'll be raffling, we already bought them for the bike rodeo.
Would you let any kid that comes to the event be eligible for that bike?
Yeah,
What if there's a kid that maybe doesn't even own a bike, can't afford one or whatever, would they be eligible to win that bike, even though they didn't get their
Any
bike?
kid that
registered?
shows up should be able to get a ticket.
Yeah, that'd be great.
and then, for the national night, we do need people to help cook, we're gonna cook hot dogs and hamburgers again, that went over really good last year. So we will need help, if you're available that night, we sure appreciate it, so we need people to cook, we need people to run the games, we'll have the,
Dunk tank,
what's that?
dunk tank?
Good, think we should have a dunk tank?
I mean.
We did have it last,
I mean,
we
people
had
in
it
the
last
are
year.
gonna blast.
We had it last year.
Trustee Kraus, would you volunteer to be in there?
I will volunteer to hand out the softballs to people only. Same thing I did last year, 100%. I will be there for you.
We'll get one then. We'll have a jumpy, we're gonna get the EMA, Van Bob's gonna try and get the big EMA truck. We had Will County Sheriff out there with lots of people, we had the state police brought motorcycles, and hopefully we'll have that much luck this year getting everybody.
And that concludes my report, Mayor.
All right, Public Works Committee, Trustee Stacy.
Thank you, Mayor. I was in the dunk tank last year, so maybe we get somebody else.
Is that a commitment?
I heard it.
You gotta,
He's got experience.
you gotta have him fill it with the engine, because the water's a lot warmer instead of going from a fire hydrant.
Well, the code enforcement officer was very popular last year.
Oh, yeah.
Said you wanna make some money, charge.
I was gonna say, you need to charge money for that.
Okay, Penfield Street project update. We've begun making our monthly payments, $88,000 to the state, as our 20% now comes due. We're running out of reserve MFT money, MFT funds dedicated for the purpose in about 7 months, so we will be secure and remainder of our obligation in the form of a loan using future MFT proceeds to pay it off. We are now on the clock. Indiana Avenue resurface update. The village has learned that we are obligated to pay $65,000 in improvements to the walkways for ADA compliance per federal law. We negotiated with the county a 2-year repayment plan, $30,000 this year, $30,000, $35,000 next year. We are awaiting a letter verifying this from the superintendent of highways. Gould Street Water Main punch list update, Bob. do you have
Yeah, I wanna
anything?
go back to Indiana Avenue. That's an open-ended thing, because Matt met with the field crews out there, and that 65,000 was based on unit pricing for what they thought they had out there. They're not achieving the grade separation they need.
Correct.
So, contractors adding walk to the job. So I don't know where we're gonna end up in year 2 with what you guys have to budget for Indiana Avenue sidewalks. The good news is, most of the sidewalks that they are replacing are crappy anyway, so it's not like we're replacing brand new walk. But, it's not under our control, and that's what we don't like about it.
So is the 30 coming out of this year's budget?
30 would be this year, and then whatever's left would have to be next year. Yeah,
It
That's
could.
right, and they're nailing us because using federal money to repave the county road, and the federal law says if federal money's involved, everything's gotta be ADA compliant along the route. That's why we have to do this.
Okay. Moving on, consider a motion waiving the bid requirements for the paving of the 600 block of Gould Street. Iroquois Paving is doing the Penfield project and the 500 block of Gould with federal funds this summer, as we know. We've asked them to give us a proposal, also to grind, resurface 600 block of Gould Street and add a storm sewer along the east side of the street connected to Penfield for improved drainage. We've also add a paved parking area along the east side of Gould Street up closer to Hodges. This would give us some parking downtown for downtown events and businesses. The unit pricing for Penfield was used on almost all the project. This is why we have to waive the bid, because the bid price is not provided in this specific quantity of work. Most of the proposal cost is a bid unit price. To be safe, we're going to waive the bid process. We will also be able to do the entire roadway without joints and is important for a good road surface. So I would like to make a motion to waive the bid requirements for the repaving of the 600 block of Gould Street.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
Where's the paid parking gonna go?
The new parking area, we
Yeah,
got
it says paid parking right there.
Hodges Street, along between the end of the lumberyard building and Hodges.
Yeah, right
On the
across.
east side of Penfield, it's stone now.
They're
It's where
gonna
there's
pay that whole thing though?
Yep.
No, okay.
Yeah, the stone area now, not the grass area. They're not creating anything more, but they're gonna pave all of it.
And we need a storm sewer to pick up that extra water that we're gonna be generating from that.
And that storm sewer, the note here says that it goes to Penfield, but it's actually gonna be tying into the Hodges Street storm sewer.
Oh, it is?
It's going north, yeah.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
oh.
Yep.
Does it have the capacity? Okay with it?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call?
Possession,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Okay, next item, consider a proposal in the amount of $160,969.91. Is that from Iroquois or for Iroquois?
From Iroquois.
From
Yeah, that's my
Iroquois.
type.
From Iroquois paving.
You'll learn.
From Iroquois paving, for the installation of storm sewer and the resurfacing of the 600 block of Gould Street. Baxter and Woodman will perform the construction management for this project, and all of Gould, south of Hodges, will be done at the same time. We budget $150,000 for this section of roadway, which means we will have less funds to pave elsewhere, but our old downtown will be finished. Please see the enclosed proposal.
And the main difference is we added that parking area plus the storm sewer, you know.
So I would like to make a motion, for a proposal in the amount of $160,969.91, for Iroquois paving for the installation of storm sewer and resurfacing of the 600 block of Gould Street.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
One item, Matt, this bid includes paving that piece between the old Public Works garage and the Blue Vault.
Yes.
Does that piece get done?
Everything that's stone up there will be paved in
Oh,
asphalt.
so those homeowners there that have complained about that for years, if they
Yep,
get that.
that's all included, yep.
Okay.
Roll call?
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Okay, I'm exhausted, Mayor.
Well, you're Public Works chairman now, right? You're gonna have a lot of things big.
Eat an apple. come
Now I
back to
know
him.
what you mean, Todd. Okay, consider a proposal from Core and Main in the amount of $6,612.20 for the storm sewer materials related to the 600 block of Gould Street project. in the Birch Storm Sewer Extension. It is much less expensive for us to purchase the material for these additional jobs than to run it through the contract. Please see the enclosed proposal. So I would like to make a motion, if in the amount of $6,612 for storm sewer materials related to the 600 block of Gould Street project and the Birch Storm Sewer Extension.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Possession,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Do you wanna read something, Joe?
Not good.
Okay. Consider a proposal for Iroquois paving in the amount of $17,500 to extend the storm sewer 250 north to Birch and Park to collect the runoff from the east down Park Lane. This has been a flooding problem for many years as the water from the business along Dixie Highway flowed down Park Lane to Catalpa, flooding the front yards in this area. The sewer extension will alleviate the flooding problems, and we have promised these residents for years this would be addressed when Penfield was rebuilt. It is outside scope of Penfield, which means we will have to pay this at 100%. It is recommended that this project be approved using infrastructure funding for road program. If the two items above are approved, it will leave $114,918 for a resurfacing project elsewhere in the town to be determined by the committee for the coming month. So I will make a motion for a proposal of Iroquois paving in the amount of $17,500 to extend the storm sewer 250 north to Birch and Park to collect the runoff from the east down Park Lane.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
Is it, so the 114,918 left over, that's not from the core main bid and Iroquois? That's from the three prior,
The
correct?
three, that's
Not
correct.
the two?
The three prior.
Okay.
And that still leaves 114 to do other patchwork in town this fiscal year according to the budget.
Okay.
Originally, Public Works was going to do this sewer extension on its own, but we identified a utility conflict with a 4-inch gas main that we want nothing to do with. So we're gonna let Iroquois do this thing, is that correct? Was that the issue?
That's
Yeah.
correct, yep.
And we have the capability of doing it, but, when you're working along a gas line, I just let them handle it with their hydro excavator, we want nothing to do with it, you know?
And this is something that we promised the residents within that area.
Oh, my God,
I mean,
going
they've
back to the
had-
Loman days.
They've had a lot of issues with
Oh, yeah.
with flooding, and so I think it's definitely
I have a
something
picture
we need to complete.
of Doc McKay having water running through his front yard up to his front door of his house. And this sewer should pick that up.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
Okay, last item, consider a 3-year contract with Test Incorporated to provide an operator in charge of the water system and all lab testing for a monthly fee of $400 for management and $6,993 annually for all testing. Please see the enclosed agreement. Brian Emery has decided not to be the water operator and instead wants to focus on wastewater plants as an operator in training. We have been scrambling to find an alternative, and the Illinois Rural Water Association referred us to this firm to meet our needs. This is a good alternative for Beecher since we have to know how they operate day to day, but none of our guys have certification to run the samples and sign reports. This firm will fill the gap for $11,793 per year. Please see the enclosed contract. I will make a motion that we accept a 3-year contract with Test Incorporated to provide an operator in charge for the water system and all lab testing at a monthly fee of $400 a month and $6,993 annually for all testing.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
I can always have something to say. It's a 90-day termination by either party, so if we're not happy with the service, we give them a 90-day notice. We can tell them to walk out the door immediately and just pay them $1,200 for the 3 months, if that's what we decide to do. But Matt and I are very comfortable, this is probably the way to go.
Is that gonna include the CCR report
Yep.
once a year?
Yep.
Okay.
Or if we come up with a different option between now and then.
That's
Somebody else
correct.
can
If
have it.
someone gets their license within the 3 years and Matt wishes to make them the operator, that's on the table. But I doubt it because they have to be in training for 3 years and none of them have their license now.
Correct.
So it's gonna take at least 3 years anyway. And it's your intention probably to hire a laborer to replace Stephen, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Any more discussion? Roll call?
Possession,
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Will that be all,
And
trustee?
that includes my report, Mayor.
Sure.
Economic Development Community Relations Committee trustee session.
Thank you. Union electronics update provided by the administrator at the meeting, so. thank you.
We had engineering was submitted, to the village engineer who reviewed the engineering, had 56 comments, those comments have been returned to the project's engineer for further revision. The biggest one is getting the Army Corps of Engineers to sign off on the wetland that's touching the property, so it's in the hands of the engineers at this point.
All right. And then finally, Will County CED presentation of status of local economy is in close review. What you have is about half the documents that were presented, so it's a nice little slideshow, and I'll keep it pretty brief. I thought a couple of neat things that they had in there was that Will County employment hit an all-time high in April 2023, and similarly, the unemployment in Will County is among the lowest ever recorded right now. Huge sustained spike in new business formations, which has been holding relatively steady for the last few years. And housing inventories remain tight, but Will County remains the #1 county in Illinois for single-family building permits for the 4th year in a row, by quite the margin. So I thought basically, for the most part, lots of good news as far as the economy goes. Seems very strong in Will County. So that concludes my report.
I love that eye opener.
That's a very good
Yeah,
one.
I know, it's really good, they have a lot of information and slideshows about every single detail of life in Will County and numbers, and they tell you where the numbers came from, it's really, it's a good meeting.
Is there a breakdown for Beecher?
Pardon?
Yes, it is there.
Not so much.
They
Not
focus
so-
on the county.
Maybe, yeah, oh, can't say
They
that.
focus on the big
The
guys.
B stuff challenge.
Yeah. All right, any old business to come before the board?
I got something. As I'm sure everybody saw, the mini excavator was out front for sale for the last couple weeks. I first want to say thank you for allowing me to try to sell it outright instead of going the trade-in route. John Deere offered us $36,000 for trade-in, and we ended up selling it for $47,010. So it was well worth the effort of doing it in-house on our own. We did receive 3 total bids, anywhere between $39,000 and the $47,10. So the winning bid picked the machine up last Friday, and they were using it on a water main break this morning. It was the Village of Crete. So they're happy with the machine, and they're already putting it to use. So, yeah, I do not have a definitive time on when our new machine's going to be here, but it should be here within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
In all honesty, it was a good buy for Crete.
It was.
Sell for us because we only paid what for it?
$49,000 in 2019.
So it only cost us $2,000 to use
$2,000.
that machine those years. But Crete, because the
Economy
today,
now.
can't touch that machine for under 60,
75.
75.
That machine would cost them 75 today with
So
their municipal
They
discount.
left town thinking they got a bargain.
Yeah,
We sold it for
yeah,
$2,000 less than we paid for it. Yeah.
yep. So, yeah, yep, worked out for everybody.
Do we need executive session?
I,
Did did we need executive session or no?
I don't think so.
I think we're good. I think
Yeah.
as long as, we have the committee's blessing and the board's blessing to start a recruitment process
Yeah.
for new labor, I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any to discuss that in private. If anyone has any reservations.
Yeah, you can't discuss
Yeah, if anyone has
that.
any reservations, let us know, but the budget calls for that position to be filled, we're gonna fill it for a lot less than what the position's budgeted for.
Okay. Any new business to come before the board?
You don't wanna put anything in there.
Yep. All right, we have a motion to adjourn,
Yeah.
Let's do it there.
That's what you're getting at.
roll call. I won't ask for discussion.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Possession.
Yes.
There's